Let's talk about something that most men go their entire lives without fully understanding, not because it's hidden or complicated, but because it's so subtle, so quiet, that it's easy to overlook. Yet when you finally get it, when it sinks into your bones and becomes part of how you move through the world, women don't just notice, they feel it on a deep, visceral level. It's not something you can fake or perform. It can't be memorized from a dating book or picked up through clever lines. This is something deeper, something more powerful. I'm talking about masculine calm, that rare, grounded presence that makes a woman stop in her tracks and wonder, what is it about him? This calm isn't about trying to appear cool or detached. It's not about being emotionally numb or unaffected. It's not the act you put on when you're trying to hide your nerves or impress someone. Masculine calm is the quiet confidence that comes from truly knowing who you are, from being so grounded in your own sense of self that nothing and no one can shake you. It's the energy of a man who doesn't need to prove anything, who isn't constantly chasing validation, who doesn't crumble under pressure. And because it's so rare, it stands out in a world full of men who are constantly reacting, over explaining, seeking approval, or trying to control every outcome. When a woman feels that kind of presence, real, unshakable presence, something instinctual happens. Her guard drops, her curiosity ignites, her energy softens. Not because you did anything flashy, but because you didn't need to. In a world full of noise, your stillness becomes the most captivating sound. That's the power most men miss, and that's where everything changes. Women are emotional beings, not in the way society often misunderstands or diminishes, but in a deeply intuitive, flowing, and powerful way. Their emotions are like weather patterns, sometimes calm and sunny, other times wild and unpredictable. This isn't a flaw, it's part of their nature, part of their feminine essence. It's the expression of life moving through them. And when a man enters her world with the same chaotic, reactive energy, he doesn't bring stability, he adds to the storm. But when a man walks in with deep masculine calm, grounded like a mountain, unmoved by every gust of wind, she doesn't just appreciate it, she feels it in her body. It disarms her, it settles her, it draws her in, not just intellectually, but emotionally and physically. In the presence of a man who isn't shaken by her moods, who doesn't take every emotional surge personally, a woman feels safe in a way she might not even be able to articulate. She may test him, not to be manipulative, but to feel the edges of his stability. She may cry, snap, withdraw, or challenge, unconsciously asking, can you hold this? Can you handle me? Most men fail this test because they panic. They try to fix, control, or retreat. But the man who remains calm, who listens, breathes, and doesn't flinch, passes without even knowing he's being tested. He becomes a rare presence in her world, the calm in the middle of her chaos. And this doesn't just earn her respect, it awakens her deepest instincts. Her body relaxes, her mind slows down, her heart opens. In the storm of her emotions, she's looking for an anchor. When she finds it in you, it creates a magnetic, almost spiritual connection. It's not about solving her, it's about holding her. And that changes everything. Masculine calm is often misunderstood. Many think it means being distant, stoic, or emotionally unavailable. But that couldn't be further from the truth. The calm I'm talking about is alive, it's aware, present, and emotionally intelligent. It doesn't mean you're cold or disconnected. It means you've built such a solid inner foundation that nothing outside of you can throw you off center. You don't run from your emotions. You own them. You don't suppress what you feel. You allow it to move through you without being hijacked by it. You become the one in control, not by force, but by understanding and depth. That's the difference between suppression and mastery. And that's what makes masculine calm so powerful. When you live from this space, everything about you changes. You stop reacting to every mood shift, every text delay, every uncertain moment. When she pulls away, you don't chase. When she gets emotional, you don't try to shut her down or fix her. You witness, you stay, you breathe, you remain steady, not out of pride or ego, but because your center is intact. That's power, that's presence, and that's what draws her in at the most primal level. She feels the strength in you, not from what you say, but from what you don't need to say. It's in your silence, it's in your patience, it's in your ability to stay grounded even when everything around you feels like it's spinning. This type of calm is rare, and that rarity makes it incredibly attractive. Most men crumble under pressure or try to win her affection by overcompensating. But the man who is deeply calm doesn't have to do any of that. He simply is. And in that being, he becomes unforgettable because nothing is more magnetic to a woman than a man who is unshaken no matter the storm. You don't need to be flashy, clever, or constantly performing to earn a woman's attention. In fact, the more you try to perform, the more you unconsciously communicate a lack of inner security. Women can sense when a man is acting versus when he's being, and being, pure, grounded, unfiltered presence is what truly captures her attention. Masculine calm isn't loud, it's not dramatic, it's subtle, but it's felt deeply. It's in your energy, your posture, the way your voice slows down instead of speeding up when things get intense. It's in your silence, not the awkward kind, but the kind that feels full, like you're completely at ease, even without words. When you stop trying to constantly fix, impress, or lead the interaction, and instead simply be, that's when everything shifts. She notices the way you pause before you speak, the stillness in your eyes, the groundedness in your breath. You don't rush to fill every silence or jump in with solutions the moment she shares something emotional. You hold space, you stay present. That presence creates a kind of energetic container that allows her to relax into her own feminine energy. It gives her the room to feel, express, and soften, not because you're manipulating her to do so, but because your calm invites her to feel safe enough to be herself. Most men underestimate how powerful their presence really is. They focus on what to say, how to text, how to respond, but a woman remembers how you made her feel, and nothing makes her feel more seen and safe than a man who is fully present. The masculine calm doesn't push or pull. It doesn't chase or retreat. It simply holds, and in that holding, you create a space where she feels something she rarely feels, at peace and completely drawn to you. Here's where the real shift happens. The moment you realize that masculine calm isn't just about women or attraction, it's about who you are when you're no longer trying to be anything. It's about becoming the kind of man who doesn't need to force outcomes, chase validation, or win approval. You don't need to be the loudest in the room, the most charming, or the most entertaining. You don't need to compete for attention. You stand out by not trying to stand out. You command attention simply by being fully rooted in yourself. And ironically, that's when people, especially women, start gravitating toward you without you having to lift a finger. When a woman encounters this energy, it disorients her in the best way. She's used to men trying to prove something, trying to win her over, trying to fix her, trying to get a reaction. So when she meets a man who isn't swayed by her highs and lows, who remains calm, centered, and open, it draws her in on a level that feels both confusing and deeply attractive. Your stillness becomes the mirror through which she feels herself more clearly. Your presence challenges her, comforts her, excites her, all without a single word needing to be spoken. And it's not about being passive or emotionless. It's about embodying a quiet strength that's unshakable. That strength is what makes her feel safe enough to surrender her guard. That's what turns casual interest into lasting intrigue. When you embody masculine calm, you stop chasing women and they start leaning into you. They start feeling something they don't often feel. A man who's not afraid to just be. That's rare. That's magnetic. That's unforgettable. In a noisy world full of emotional chaos, your calm becomes the loudest and most attractive force in the room.